Greetings, my name is Rudimentary Rob. Welcome back to my Raft series. Today we resume the action here at this island that I honestly don't think I've ever seen before. We remained anchored here at the end of the previous episode because we still have some unfinished business here. Now, the unfinished business is that we need to go and kill a pufferfish so we can get some more explosive powder, and so we can try and capture our goat. I think that's what it is, our goat friend, who is on this island. So that will then hopefully give us access to some milk. So before we can engage with the reef, we've got to deal with our old mate Bruce here. So, as we join the fray, so to speak, I would ask you to strap yourself in, grab your favourite swim fins, and let's see how this all works out today. Alright, and our old mate Bruce has now departed this world once again. We grabbed the 4 bits of shark meat. We're going to just dump that on board. There is a fairly surprisingly large amount of reef here, so I wanted to try and make sure that I kept my bag as clear as I could. Not the least of which is we're going to be killing a pufferfish, which of course there's 2 kinds of loot we get from that. We get the head and we get the explosive goo. So we've got ourselves, we had to make ourselves another bow. I can't remember if we actually needed it per se, but we've got it there just in case we do. And there we go. Mr. Pufferfish is upside down now. That means it's safe to approach. We recover all of our arrows, and then boom, there we go. We've got an explosive goo and the poison puffer head, which we will be using those in a recipe at some stage once we actually get that recipe. Yeah, I haven't had much luck getting the cooking recipes, but I have a feeling it's because I've been skipping past a lot of the things that potentially could be giving me the recipes, but yeah, it's alright. We'll get there eventually. Anyway, we have cleared out Mr. Puffish. That will give us, once we cook that down, that will give us 1 explosive powder, and that is exactly how much explosive powder we need for 1 lot of ammo for the net gun. Now, we're not going to go off and try and use that just yet. We're going to use the time we have been granted through the destruction of Bruce to clear off this reef. Because as it turns out, there is, surprising amount of metal on this reef. At first glance, this island didn't even look like it had a reef, but yeah, as you're going to see, it's not just this one. There is actually another reef a little bit further around, which we will get to in due course. So, yeah. Alright, let's get on with the gathering. Alright, and here is the second reef that I spoke of. This one's pretty much the same size as the previous one, which is going to beg the question, do we have a second pufferfish? And yeah, actually we do. We're going to get to him in a minute here, but there is a second pufferfish. It works out as 1 per reef on this island. So when we stumble across him, we're going to dispatch him in the same fashion, And that will set us up pretty well. That's going to give us 2 ammunition for our net gun. And yeah, we'll see how we get on with that. All right, I did want to just absolutely confirm that there wasn't a third reef, and yeah, there's a little bit of boring swimming around the backside of the island here. We did confirm our suspicion that there was only the 2 reefs at the front of the island where we are anchored. So yeah, look, it would have been nice to have more reefs, but 2 on this island seems to be the maximum, so to speak. Anyway, so we're going to swim back to the island. Yep, and then we'll jump back on the boat and we will see what we can do about catching our little goat friend. All right, we've got a little bit of maintenance to do in amongst everything else. We need to get some more food on the cook, and obviously we need to cook up our explosive goo as well to make the powder. While we're doing that in the background and realizing that we are extremely low on wood, in fact, I'm pretty sure I just used the last of it there. You'll notice that this is a somewhat shorter episode. I did end up recording about 40 minutes, but there was a lot of fluff in there that really didn't need to go in there. So I ended up cutting a lot of that, and by the time I sped up what was left, we ended up with a bit over 20 minutes. So, but this is the first time in a while where I'm actually doing the narration the same day that I recorded the gameplay, which is it's a nice experience. I'm mostly able to do it because I'm actually taking a little bit of time off work, so it's letting me have a few little luxuries like this. And in amongst that, I do have a lot of other real lifey type things that I need to attend to. Not the least of which is probably a bit of a spring clean. Yeah, I know we're at the end of the summer in Southern Hemisphere, so is it a bit late? Yeah, probably, but I had even more going on in spring last year, so that's why I had to wait. Anyway, We have now managed to get our goo on the cook. We actually had some ore that was kind of stuck in there because I'd run out of... I had in fact run out of wood in there, but I cleared that out and we managed to cook up our goo. We've got only one of the goo ready at this stage because we've run out of wood. We'll do something about that in a few minutes, but theoretically, one ammunition is all we need to catch our goat friend. Theoretically. Now, the goat's usually down on that sort of mid-level, but I didn't see the goat down there. He might have been hiding behind the caravan, but I thought, oh, maybe he's run up the stairs and he's up the top here, but no, he's definitely not up here. Still, we have a bit of a look around and just make sure. No, he's definitely not up here, so we're going to... Ah, there he is. He was hiding in a bush. Wow, look, you're a goat. You can do whatever you want to do. It's probably not really going to change the fact that in a few moments, he's going to hopefully get some comeuppance and end up in my net gun, and he will become my farm animal, in theory. Haven't worked out where I'm going with this? Yeah, that's where I'm going with this. We missed. And that ammo is now completely wasted. So just as well we got ourselves a second pufferfish. The only problem is we need some more wood. But we've got our trees on the upper deck. We're just going to go and chop them down to get a bit more wood. It'll be enough to get that furnace run completed, probably with a couple of bits of wood left over. And then that will allow us to get that explosive powder completed and a second charge of ammunition for the net gun. I wonder how that's going to work out for us. Alright, well, here we are. We've got our additional charge in the net gun. We are spoiling for a fight here because we're still a bit miffed we missed the first time. Honestly, I thought that was about the right angle, but apparently the net gun sort of shoots off to the right a little bit. Yeah, I hadn't really realised it at the time. Otherwise, the outcome of this charge might have been a little bit different. Yeah, that's a bit of a spoiler. Anyway, we have the goat back in pretty much the same place. We are trying to sneak up on the goat, so I'm wondering if I can just sort of shoot him in the face with a net gun, but that didn't really work, so we're going to run after him, and we're going to try and see if we can sort of allow for... Yeah, no, that didn't happen either. Yeah, 2 strikes and, well, I guess we're out at this stage, and here's Mr. Goat just laughing at us. Yeah, it's probably the biggest disappointment of the day, I have to say. I've managed to miss with 2 shots out of the net gun. Now, the goat is probably one of the most annoying out of the animals to try and collect. It is not the most annoying. That one is yet to come. That's the clucker, which is the chicken analog type thing in Raft. Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of pufferfish that are going to die between now and me having one of those chickens on board. Anyhow, we We fired up the radar just before we left that island, and we really did need to leave that island. We're basically out of wood, and we just set ourselves on the drift and tried to fill our nets with wood. This island was about a kilometre away. It is in a favourable direction wind-wise, so we're just drifting there under sail. Now, this island, I'm pretty sure I have seen this island before, but it's not one that I come across very often. And I could have sworn that there's a bird on this island, but normally you can see the bird long before you actually get this close to the island. But we haven't seen the bird yet, but then we can sort of see that there's additional shapes related to the island sort of coming out of the mist there, so it might be a little bit bigger than I remembered. And so consequently, yeah, the bird might be at the other end, but that's all right. We'll spot the bird at some stage. In the meantime, I'm just trying to rack my brain to remember whether it's better to approach this island from the left or the right relative to where we are at the moment. In retrospect, I think I should have probably went down the right-hand side. I don't believe it's going to make that much difference, but when I see the bird on the left side of the island there, it probably would have been a better move to go down the right-hand side just to stay clear of the bird, at least for some of my collecting duties, but that's all fine. We'll deal with the bird at some point. For the moment, we are just gradually drifting in towards the island, grabbing a few opportune barrels here and there over the side, and still having a bit of a think exactly where I want to drop my anchor. And I'm looking at what's going on here, and I can see that that rock is a bit too vertical to be climbing on effectively. I think you can. I seem to remember there's something in the water there, and I don't want to be dealing with it and the shark at the same time. So we're not going to drop anchor just here. We're going to drift past, and then we're going to find somewhere hopefully that will be a little bit more suitable than this spot. Yes, I didn't surround myself in glory with this particular maneuver because the steering wheel got stuck. I didn't properly centre it, and I ended up going in quite a different direction. We switched to the motors there just because we were going against the wind a bit. But as it turns out, with the way we accidentally turned in, we probably didn't really need to use any of the fuel in the engines. Just for reference, the engine's still, I haven't touched the fuel since since I refueled them. I think it was just after Balboa. I think I topped off the fuel then. So I haven't checked the old fuel gauge, but I dare say we're not going to have a lot left. Now, speaking of not having a lot left, there's not a lot of this episode left. So if you've enjoyed it, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and to consider subscribing if you have not already subscribed. Until next time, my name is Rudimentary Rob. Thank you very much for watching, and make sure you have yourself an absolutely fantastic day.